graduated. That was a surprise to me. I showed up and someone made it happen. What? That would be Dewey Boy. That's not me.
Good evening. Welcome to the 2024 convocation at Clarkson University. We anticipate that our event tonight will last approximately 1 hour. Should you need to exit the arena, regular exits are on the concourse level at the front and back of this building. Restrooms are also located just outside of these 2 exits. In case of emergency, additional exits are located on all levels of this building and all around the arena. There is no smoking in any location in this building. We are now about to begin. I would like to ask all of you to silence your cell phones at this time. Thank you. Now please rise for the singing of the national anthem by Clarkson Marketing and Communication Strategist Tara Trefiletti.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, everyone. I really, please be seated. Good evening, afternoon, and I want to welcome you to the 2024 Clarkson University convocation. As you've probably figured this out, this is my first time, so you're going to see lots of little mistakes. Oh well, I own it. So, and I just want to know that before we begin this ceremony, that we're going to have a land acknowledgment read on behalf of the faculty, staff of Clarkson University. Philip White Cree, coordinator of the Indigenous Community Support and Outreach within the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office, will read Clarkson's University Collins Hill Campus land acknowledgement. Philip?
As the staff, faculty, and students of the Clarkson community, We're grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land before us. We acknowledge we are meeting on traditional territory of the Akwesasne Mohawk and their ancestors. These lands and waterways connect the vast traditional areas of the Haudenosaunee, Algonquin, Huron-Wyandot, and Abenaki peoples. We recognize and deeply appreciate their connection to this place. These traditional territories were never wholly surrendered and were only claimed by competing French and British crowns, and later New York State. As we move towards healing past injustices, we must acknowledge the wrongs that have been done and work towards a unified path of coexistence and prosperity. We also recognize the contributions of the Akwesasne Mohawk, Haudenosaunee, and other Indigenous peoples have made both in shaping and strengthening this community in particular and other territories within the country as a whole. I wish to express 3 good words that were spoken when meeting new people for the first time. This is adopted from the Edge of the Woods ceremony and would be spoken to people coming to the area for the first time. I address these words to everyone that is now joining us for the first time, be them student, faculty, staff, or even a president. The first is acknowledging you have traveled to this place and there may have been loss or grief. With that, I metaphorically extend a soft piece of cloth so that you may wipe the tears from your eyes and you may see us meeting clearly. Second is acknowledging you may have collected dust in your ears from your travels and may have been blocked or distracted. So with that, I metaphorically extend an eagle feather to brush the dust from your ears so you may hear my words. Lastly is acknowledging that on your travels, you may have been emotionally distressed from loss or grief. And with that, I metaphorically give you a cool drink of water to remove that lump in your throat so you may speak clearly. With that, I acknowledge the challenges and the successes that led you into the Clarkson community and welcome you to the campus. To.
Well, the bell you heard ringing at the beginning of this ceremony has been a long tradition at Clarkson University. In 1957, the members of the Phi Kappa Pi fraternity salvaged the bell from a burned out school in Colton, and for the next few years halted around in a wagon at all the sporting events in which the fraternity members were participating, including the varsity hockey games. In 1976, when Walker Arena was enlarged, the bell was given its permanent home. Starting in 1968, the bell was rung when the university president handed out the last diploma on the last senior commencement, and this happens again today, or continues today. In 2016, a tradition was established to ring the bell at the beginning of convocation. In keeping with this tradition, the Clarkson community begins each academic year with a special welcome to our new and returning students. That welcome takes the form of an academic convocation which engages and challenges the campus community and symbolizes the opening of our academic year. So now I'm going to take just a few moments to talk to you a little bit about the Clarkson experience that you're going to be having soon. It's a great way of learning, and it's a great way of really getting into the year. When I think about this, and I keep this in mind, there was really about 4 elements that come out, or 4 pillars that you can think of. And I think the first of these is excitement. We are so excited to be here with you today at the start of your college career. In fact, you should all be excited as well. So why don't you turn to the people next to you? I want to see some high fives. Let's go. Come on. We're excited. It's the beginning of school. All right. Good, good. Someone's out there. So when I think about excitement, and I think about that word as a descriptor, it's a way for us to jump into the STEM learning that we have here at Clarkson. It's where you do, you try, you adjust, you investigate. You think about this alongside of lots of different people that came from lots of different places, different majors, different disciplines, different backgrounds, and that together really provides a very unique Clarkson experience. You get to jump into the Clarkson community. It's a really tight-knit group that wants to be very supportive of you. You get to jump into starting college. Think about that. It's the first day of a life-changing event for you. So I just wanted to emphasize that the faculty and the staff, the alums, the residents of Potsdam and the area, all are very excited to be with you at the start of your Clarkson journey. The second word that I think about is transformation. And I'm going to read this, so it's an interesting word. It means causing the marked change of someone or something. And you kind of think about that, it's absolutely the case of a college career. It's a marked change where you transform from where you were coming out of high school to where you're going to be starting out into the world and into the career. And I can say that Clarkson's unique ability to really stress and emphasize interdisciplinary capabilities, wearing multiple hats, jumping in and figuring it out is what really helped me and launched my career as I went out into the market. I started my career in 1983 in semiconductors. And I realized pretty quickly I had to learn a lot about that. After a few years, I went and joined a startup company. So think about that. No customers, no revenue, no products. My wife's 9 months pregnant, and she's looking at me like, how does this work again? We were going to a place that's not making any money. And I can tell you, I relied on my Clarkson experience to wear the multiple hats that you have to wear in a startup situation, to sit there and to come at the problem from many different angles that you wouldn't normally think about, because we're just this little startup, and here we are going out competing against large established manufacturers out in the marketplace. So we had to do something unique, something different, something that they were not going to be able to replicate. In fact, over time, we were able to get a part out there and products out there that were between 20 times and 100 times less power than the nearest competition. So in the end, they could not do what our products could do. And it generated a whole new class of semiconductors. It's battery management. In fact, that little icon you see on your cell phones that tells you how much capacity is in the battery, right here. And I think it's amazing that we came up with a Coulomb counter that measures the charge going in, charge coming out. And I owe that all to my experience here at Clarkson. They prepared me for a situation where I could go out in industry and invent something, work with something, compete against much larger companies, and be able to establish this. The company went along, it grew, we went public, we got bought by a company, and very quickly after that got bought by Texas Instruments. TI then continued to invest in that particular area, and today that's over $1 billion franchise for TI. And I can remember the day we got our first order. So very exciting, and it was one that I look back on and realize what an experience it was. So something to think about. That absolutely can be your story, and that can absolutely be what you do out in the marketplace. So really, it's about learning. It's about getting your hands dirty, getting into the details. It's about exploring, what interests you and what are you trying out some ideas, discovering what your passions are, what interests are, actually what gives you energy, what makes you excited each and every morning. And you just really need to think about that and go for that. And I can't emphasize this enough, you're in the driver's seat. You own this. This is your journey. This is your effort to go forward, and it's going to be exciting for you. I think of another word along that goes very closely with that, and that's companionship. At Clarkson, you're going to develop really deep relationships and companions as you go through your 4 years. And in fact, they're here with you at the beginning. They're going to be with you through your triumphs and challenges, through some sorrows and some good times. And you're going to find that you've made lifelong friends with the relationships and the people that you've interacted with here at Clarkson. And I'm going to remind you of this, is this journey, while it's yours, was not meant to go alone. So open yourself up, reach out, let the others in, because you'll be excited to have these companions and these cheerleaders with you for the rest of your life. And I think I'd like to end with the last characteristic, which is really around invitation, around inviting. There is so much that Clarkson offers. There's so much that you can do in the area. You can, go out, ask questions, be curious, engage your professors, engage your classmates, engage the people in the community, because you're going to find that they have plenty of resources around here, plenty of things to do. There's clubs, there's affinity groups, there's the staff and faculty here to help you, there's the academics in the classrooms that all come together that really give you a very unique and wonderful experience. And I'm going to remind you, today is going to go by quite quickly, and I'm going to ask you then to really maximize your time here, really look for interactions, and really go out and seize the day. So in summary, remember the 4 points. You got to be excited, because it is exciting. It's transformative. You're going to be changing, and that's really awesome. Companionship, don't do it alone. And finally, inviting this campus, the community, the wonderful faculty that you have here, all want to be part of your experience. So please, accept the invitation, own it, jump in. Like I did, the water's warm, trust me, just swim around. So we're excited to have you here at Clarkson. Thank you so much. And we got to lead you in the last one. Let's go Tech. Now I'd like to bring the Vice President of Enrollment and Student Advancement to the front, Brian Grant.
Well, thank you, President Heacock. It's a privilege to greet my colleagues and the faculty, staff, and administration at the beginning of this new year. An absolute pleasure to welcome all of our new students that are continuing here as well. I'd also like to begin by asking our cabinet members, faculty, and staff to stand for a moment of recognition. Thank you for all that you've done to ensure that the Clarkson family continues to thrive. Thank you. So this year, I celebrate 30 years at this institution. And it's a day like this that reminds me why. This is a very special and unique place. But really at the heart of it is a caring nature. As President Heacock mentioned, please get to know your fellow students, your professors, faculty, administration. But I do ask you students, caring means a lot. First of all, care for yourself. Take care of yourself. You cannot succeed if you're not doing that. But also to care for others around you. Support them, encourage them, celebrate them. That's special about Clarkson. We are a family. And I thank you for joining us, and I thank our families for entrusting us with your students. This opportunity that's in front of you is going to be amazing. But we're going to partner with you every step of the way. And I can't wait to watch what you do when you walk off this graduation stage here in 4 years. So one of the things I mentioned is celebrating. Celebrating with family means a lot of things. So at this point, I'm going to ask for a number of students to come join me, please, up here on the stage. Larry Blackmore. Tonko Colley. Mateo Terrigo Canton. Come on up. Sam Glazer. Bella Perigo. Tony Murphy. You're good. Come on up. And Grant Benz. Please come on up here. I'll do this first. Larry? That's me. Okay. Sam? So I'm going to ask you, why would I bring you up here? What's special about this weekend? Tomorrow's their birthday, or yesterday was their birthday. So, what do families do on a birthday? They celebrate and we sing. And I am not Tara, by the way. So I am going to need a great deal of help in welcoming these students to our family. So 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, new students. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. So moving on, Alexandra Jacobs-Wilge is the mayor of the village of Potsdam in November of 2023. She previously served as 4-year trustee of the Potsdam Village Board, and prior to that had been on a zoning board and among other local communities and nonprofit boards. Alex has a background in journalism and originally moved to Potsdam to work as a news reporter before switching careers and putting down roots here. I'm excited to welcome Alex to the stage.
Good afternoon and welcome. It's my honor to serve as the mayor of Potsdam, New York. That feels crazy to say. And thank you for having me here, everyone. Do you feel that energy right now? That is the energy of a college town more than doubling in population in 24 hours. That's what we're in the middle of right now. Welcome to Potsdam. And in case you didn't know, according to the Washington Post, we are the number seventh collegeiest college town in the United States. That's because 60%, believe it or not, of our population is college students during the year. So welcome. This is a place for you, and you are our newest neighbors, and we're so glad to have you. And this morning I was over at SUNY Potsdam to welcome their new class of students, the Bears. It's great to be here now with our newest Golden Knights. I also have a personal connection to Clarkson as well. My husband is a member of the faculty, Dr. Andreas Wilke, in psychology. So as we gather here together, we are awash in something special, the power of possibility. You all possess impressive acumen, accomplishments, and judgment. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. I, for one, am in awe at the power of what's possible for each of your futures. Just think, before long, some of you are going to be lifelong friends. I hope you support each other through your studies and make time to get downtown for some downtime too. My advice to you, enjoy the natural beauty all around us in all seasons. Catch a movie, grab a coffee, take a walk in the park. Make some time to hike, bike, or ski the Clarkson trails, or get out of town a bit and explore the Adirondacks. You don't even know it yet, but you are all going to be a role model for a young person. I know for a fact because I've seen it happen. You are going to inspire not just your peers, not just your family members, but local children too, like our own. Our children have loved cheering on the Golden Knights, learning from students at STEM education events, and having fun with you at club fundraisers and campus celebrations. With your energy and enthusiasm, you can inspire people of all ages to do new things and help one another. Last spring, I was even invited, along with my colleagues, to jump into the freezing waters of the Racket River for the OT Club's Polar Plunge to benefit Renewal House. And you guys have to join this year, by the way, it's required. So that's just one example of the many ways that Clarkson students give back, from volunteering at community cleanup days to training to be our first responders. I'm certain that we have a room full of problem solvers here today too. You are going to solve problems large and small. Research, innovation, and service starts right here and extends into the community. We're so fortunate to have expert Clarkson faculty, staff, and students who are willing to help solve persistent problems and look at issues in a new light. I just know you are all going to contribute to our community during your time here. Some of you are going to stumble upon an idea while you're here that one day might become the basis for a startup or a patent. Others are going to have your first brush with entrepreneurship this year as freshmen. Remember, Clarkson has the resources to help you launch your business and refine your research. And once you graduate, please come back anytime, whether for a visit or to settle down. Many of our local businesses and institutions owe their success to Clarkson interns and grads. I hope you'll take a serious look at starting or continuing your career or bringing your business back here one day, even, maybe just even in 4 years from now. No matter what, Potsdam is always going to be a home for you. We want you and your families to enjoy every second of your time here. So let me welcome you again as our newest neighbors. We're here to support you and cheer you on. I'll leave you with one final suggestion. If you find something that needs fixing, whether here or elsewhere, go ahead and fix it. Being a good neighbor means leaving a place a little bit better than when you found it. We know you can, because you are Golden Knights and you are problem solvers. The power of possibility is here in Potsdam, New York today, and we cannot wait to see what you will do. Let's go Tech.
Thank you, Alex. I'm going to go a little bit off script here because there's one thing I forgot to mention. I mentioned 30 years I have been here, but what's more important to me is my undergrad time here. So I talked about caring, I talked about resources, talked about getting to know your professors. I'll tell you a story that hopefully settles it in for you. I came to Clarkson as a student. I had taken 4 years off after high school. I stepped into physics, calculus, and chemistry, and I was not ready. It would have been easy for me to sit in the last row of lecture hall, felt sorry for myself, and said, it's my fault. They were not going to let me do that here. You should feel the same. I love the fact that that happened for me back then. I had professors that gave me home phone numbers, came in on evenings, weekends, just to help me out. We've changed, but that culture has not. And it's funny, I look across the arena here. We have a people that make difference in our lives. And I honestly would not be standing here if it wasn't for those faculty and staff, but also most importantly, I look at Kathy Avedikian across from me, who was my advisor. Without her, I'm not here. So I'm interested to see who will become your Kathy Avedikian here on campus. So now to the order of the day. Convocation marks the beginning of a new academic year, but it also marks an occasion to reflect on our university's history and the stories of our past. It's also a time to imagine what you would like to learn, change during your time here at Clarkson. First, I want to thank the Convocation Committee for being such a great team. Second, I'd also like to thank the staff that make these events absolutely possible. The highlight of the Clarkson Convocation is the Van Sickle Endowed Lecture. The Kenneth J. and Arla Van Sickle Endowment Lecture was established in 1992 through the generous bequest from the estates of Kenneth and Arla Van Sickle, who were dedicated to hard work and placed great value on higher education. This year, we celebrate the Van Sickle Lecture by hosting alumna speaker Ellen Petosa. Ellen is speaking about her focus this year and our focus on our local connections, the Clarkson Family Network, and how the Clarkson community extends like a widespread web across the world. Ellen is a native of Bridgeport, New York, and graduated from Clarkson University in 2013 with a BS in Engineering and Management, a concentration in Mechanical Engineering, and a minor in Communications. Underachiever. While at Clarkson, she played soccer, was a member of the E&M program, and rowed for our crew club. After college, she returned to Syracuse area to marry her Clarkson alumni husband, Raymond Gus Petrosa, class of 11, and worked as a project engineer at O'Brien and Gear for 2 years, followed by manufacturing engineering and biological cancer treatments at Bristol-Myers Squibb for 3 years. Now she is a ground-based radar manufacturing engineer at Lockheed Martin, where she's been for 5 years. After having her first of 2 children, ages 4 and 1, she dropped down to part-time work at Lockheed Martin. In 2020, a struggle with postpartum depression and anxiety led Ellen to find her new passion, helping and educating new moms. After training in numerous courses, she became a certified pregnancy and postpartum fitness trainer in 2021. She took to Instagram at Postpartum Strength to educate and support new moms and found her own business, Functional Empowerment Fitness, LLC, in 2022. When Ellen isn't balancing being a mom of 2 young children, working part-time as an engineer, and running her own online business, she likes to travel the world, hike the high peaks, and play soccer. I'm excited to introduce Ellen Petros.
Hi, everyone. I did not think I'd ever be standing on a robe on the stage ever again, so it was quite a surprise when I got asked to come speak. I graduated 11 years ago, and let me just say with complete sincerity that I am a little bit jealous of all of you that you're about to start college. Also, that section in the corner over there is the best seats in the house for hockey games. That's unrelated to my speech. I got a tour of the campus. It brought back a lot of really fun memories. So I was invited to talk about Clarkson and how it was some of the best years of my life, what I learned, what I experienced, what I took with me into the real world. I have a little bit of a unique story, kind of just got a brief overview of it. I'll get into it later. But first and foremost, I'm here for you. I'm here to help inspire you and hopefully give you a little words of wisdom. I've listened to enough wedding speeches to know that longer is not always better. A little humor goes a long way, and stories make the best speeches. So I'm going to do my best to keep you engaged. But if you check out before the end, I would like you to take away this one very important lesson. This is something my dad said to me, either when I was in college or when I graduated. I don't remember, but it's stuck with me ever since. You go to college to learn how to learn. So just think about that for a minute. You go to college to learn how to learn. You don't go to college to learn how to answer every question you're going to be asked in a future job. When you start your future careers, no one's going to expect you to know the answers. They will expect you to be a sponge, absorbing everything you learn. They'll expect you to be self-disciplined, and they'll expect you to be able to think independently. You're here at Clarkson to help prepare you for that future, not a specific job. Clarkson will help you develop a set of resources that you'll carry with you into the rest of your life, and it'll be more than textbooks, lecture notes. It will be things like the people you meet, self-respect, discipline, a curious mind, and an understanding that you don't have to know everything, you just have to be willing to seek every answer and ask for help. As I tell my story, I hope I can impress upon you 2 very important things. The first is that the relationships you develop in college are going to be one of the biggest resources you take with you when you leave here. The second is that it's okay if you don't know what you want to do with your career right now, or even when you graduate. My hope is that at some point in your 4 years here, something I've said to you today will help you on a hard day, will encourage you to keep going, or will remind you that you made the right decision in coming here. Now, let's talk about that decision for a second. I honestly cannot believe that the world lets 17-year-olds, sometimes 16-year-olds, decide what to spend $100,000 or more on before they can even legally drink alcohol. It was probably a little bit of a scary decision to make, and you might be a little nervous here now about to start this part of your future. I know all of that was true for me. As someone who has been in your shoes before, I promise you, you made the right decision. Even if you're not sure what you want to do, or you're not sure what you want to do when you graduate, you made the right decision. And it all comes back to that most important lesson, which is you go to college to learn how to learn. I'm going to share a little bit about my story so you can understand how Clarkson impacted me and shaped my future. I am no one special. I am not a CEO. I'm not a mayor. I'm not a president. I didn't run a startup. I am a mom. I work 20 hours a week at Lockheed Martin. The other 148 hours I spend chasing my 2 children around and running my online business. But most importantly of all, I've created a fulfilling life where I live comfortably, I enjoy my 2 careers, I have enough extra time and money to travel, and I'm surrounded by people who I love and lift me up. I think that's the beauty of my story and why I was asked to come speak to you. I'm an ordinary person living my version of a perfect life. And Clarkson helped me achieve that. And I think that's possible for all of you out here today. Some of you will have bigger dreams than me and will do way cooler things, and that's amazing. Everyone's vision of their perfect life and their future is different. Just make sure whatever you strive for in your life, you are also striving for happiness. So I grew up in Bridgeport, New York, which is just outside of Syracuse. Anybody from Syracuse, New York area? Baldwinsville, FM, ESM, they all count. I saw CBA out there somewhere. Nice. Anybody familiar with Syracuse, but not from there? All right, a little more. Well, it's right in the middle of New York State. It's a bigger city, but it's surrounded by farmland and suburbs. Where I grew up on Oneida Lake is pretty rural. I grew up tubing, swimming, boating, playing kickball outside, playing night games at night. Now, I have a very serious question for you. Has anybody ever played sardines or captured the flag? Yes! I was worried I was going to ask that, and no one was going to have played before. Sardines is my favorite game. If you haven't played it before, look it up, and it's never too late to try it. I truly had the best childhood. I lived in a neighborhood where my mom would stand on the porch at 5 every night and scream to me and my brother and sister to come home for dinner. You knew where the neighborhood kids were because there was a pile of bikes outside the house. I was a little bit awkward, had straight A's, and an unhealthy obsession with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. I have only ever faked sick to get out of school once. Sorry, Mom. And it was when Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire came out. I actually took my thermometer and put it in the light bulb until it read I had a fever and showed her. I played soccer. I loved math and science, was a little introverted, didn't like crowds. I enjoyed the cold more than the summer heat, so it's really no wonder that I ended up here. D3 soccer, good engineering programs, small school, small class sizes, and seemingly eternal winter. Anyways, back to high school me. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I grew up. My dad was a chemical engineer. My brother was going to school to be a mechanical engineer. I had a great life, and my mom and dad were able to provide for us based on my dad's salary, and I liked helping him with projects around the house. So I figured, why not try engineering? Seems like it pays well and is pretty intriguing. I would also be lying if I didn't say a little part of me wanted to be an engineer because I was a woman and I wanted to be part of that movement that proved women could do anything that men could do. Yeah. Once I knew, oh, by the way, all you ladies out there, I am still often the only female in a conference room full of 20 men. Just keep going, just stick it out. Once I knew I wanted to pursue engineering, I checked out RPI, Binghamton, Buffalo, RIT, and Clarkson. And I loved Clarkson's smaller class sizes and the engineering and management program. But there is one more thing I have to confess. So my parents are sitting in the audience today. Wave hi, Mom and Dad. And in a second, they're gonna nod their heads and say, I told you so. 17-year-old me would have never admitted this, but part of the reason I chose Clarkson is because my boyfriend from back home went here. Thankfully, I was right about him because he is my husband of 10 years. We have 2 children, and he's also sitting in the audience. He is my biggest supporter, and we loved touring around campus today. On I'm going to strategically use a water break for a second. So, back to my story. I bet a lot of you in this audience feel a lot more confident about what you want to do with your career than I ever have. Trust me when I say I didn't know what I wanted to do when I started school, and I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated, but I was pretty sure Clarkson would help me have a good quality of life. And thankfully, I was right about that too. I chose the engineering and management program because I thought I wanted to be an engineer, but wanted to keep my prospects open. I chose mechanical as a concentration because it wasn't too specific as engineering, didn't want to get pigeonholed. I was not very sure. While in college, I played soccer 3 of the 4 years, rowed in the crew club the other year. Other than sports, I was really dedicated to my coursework. I could have graduated a semester early, but my parents encouraged me to stay and take some interesting classes and spend more time with my friends. Thank you for that. I took classes on public speaking, journalism, filmography, which I just learned isn't here anymore, and that makes me sad. I honestly used what I learned from those classes more than any other class here except for fluid dynamics. Don't know why. My only true regret from college is not studying abroad. If you get the chance to do it, do it. You will never understand what it's like to travel obligation-free until you're in the real world and it's too late. Traveling also happens to be my favorite hobby, so I'm a little biased, but do it. I spent all of my other free time with my friends, and that's part of what makes college so special. Every day, you're surrounded by people you choose to be around. Every day is another opportunity for a good laugh and a deep conversation, and to develop some of the most lasting friendships of your life. See, the thing about Clarkson is it attracts some pretty incredible people with the same goals and values, and it makes it really easy to develop lifelong friendships. So now we're at my first of 2 very important lessons of the day. The people you meet in college will be one of the most valuable resources during and after college. Let me paint a picture for you. Next April, we're going on a beach vacation with my family. We're going with my freshman year roommate and her husband, who happened to be my husband's lab partner. We're going with our friend who lived across the hall freshman year and her family. We're going with our friend who lived down the hall and his family. We're going with 2 of our friends we met later in life, also Clarkson alumni. My husband's best friend back home is acting engineering manager while he's out, so she can't come, also a Clarkson alumni, and so is his boss. I could literally keep going. It's pretty incredible. My husband and I created a family at Clarkson, and it's still growing. And it all started with some friends we made at Clarkson. They're the people we studied with, lived with, cried with, laughed with, and grew with for 4 years. And these friendships were built in the little moments. You don't realize they're happening when they're happening, but you will remember them later. Little things like when you drag your friends' mattresses across the hall and stay up all night playing Nintendo 64, which you guys probably don't even know what that is. Or how you wait for each other for dinner every night because you're a family. Or the way you can get each other laughing so hard you're all crying. So just take a moment and look around you right now. Some of the people you are looking at and sitting next to are going to be your new family. And it's a family you get to choose. They're the friends you'll live so closely with, they'll know you better than anyone else has in your life. College can be hard. There's going to be tests, late night studying, big loves, big breakups, stressful projects, interpersonal issues. The people you surround yourself with will help you overcome those hardships. They will watch you change and grow over 4 years. They will help you change and grow. When I think back on college, it's not the classes that made it so special, it was the people and the memories we made. I'm so excited for you that this is something you're about to experience, and you're all creating your new families. You don't know it yet. I should also add, it's not just the personal relationships that matter. The professional relationships you make with acquaintances, colleagues, faculty, staff, coaches are going to follow you through the rest of your life. Clarkson has a massive alumni network that will make a difference in your future careers. So while you're here for the next 4 years, take the time to invest in people and relationships. Let's move on to lesson 2 and the last lesson of the day. And that's, it's okay if you don't know what you want to do when you graduate. It all comes back to what I said at the beginning of the speech. You go to college to learn how to learn. You also go to learn about yourself and what your values are and what you're interested in. I'm about to tell you the abbreviated version of my story, my professional career. You're going to see a common theme, especially for the first couple years. I clearly had no idea what I wanted. But what I didn't realize as I was experiencing it was that every job and opportunity was actually helping me create the life I wanted. I was making decisions based on what I valued and what interested me, and every decision brought me one step closer to my true dream, to have a fulfilling career, surrounded by people I love, with spare money and time to travel. So I've already expressed I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I had a job lined up at O'Brien & Gear when I graduated. I took my fundamentals of engineering exam so I could be an EIT, and I had this driving need to get a lot of engineering and technical experience so I could prove I was a worthy engineer. I didn't really think I wanted to be at my desk for the rest of my life, but I thought I needed to start there. And my first job was not what I thought I would be. I thought I would be in AutoCAD designing wastewater treatment plants, stack of textbooks and a calculator sitting next to me, feeling like a real engineer. But I wasn't really getting the technical experience I wanted. I was getting more project management type experience. And being the wise old adult I am now, I realized I was getting some amazing opportunities, but they didn't line up with what I thought I should be doing, for really no other reason than I am stubborn and thought I was right. I actually ended up working on a construction project at Bristol-Myers Squibb in Syracuse. I was managing a difficult contractor, dealing with some horrendous weld documentation. I wasn't super happy, and I still wasn't getting that technical experience I wanted. But I was meeting new people at this company. I was learning about the company. They made cancer-treating drugs. I also learned they had a job opening as a manufacturing engineer. I had no experience in manufacturing and no experience with biologic pharmaceuticals, but I thought the job sounded interesting. So after 2 years with OBG, feeling pretty frustrated the whole time, I decided it was time to try something new. My next job that I had would probably be the coolest job I've ever had. For 3 years, I worked at Bristol-Myers Squibb as a manufacturing engineer, so I wasn't designing anything. I was the interface between the designers and the equipment and the people making the drugs. When something went wrong, I had to know what to do and how to fix it. And we were making drugs for very sick people, so we were heavily regulated by the FDA. So every time something went wrong with manufacturing, we had to do a root cause investigation. And I was part of the team that did root cause investigations, and I loved it. I had to understand the equipment and processes so I could figure out what went wrong and how to fix it. And then I had to figure out what the impact was to the product. Can we still give this to a very sick person? I had to perform interviews of people because human factors mattered in the process. And then once I had the root cause, I had to come with corrective actions to fix it, present it to senior leadership for endorsement. It was really cool. Maybe it doesn't sound cool to you, but I loved it. But Bristol taught me another really important lesson. And that's, you can have the most amazing job in the world, but it can be ruined by a poor work-life balance. Some people live to work. I do not. I work to live. So after 3 years at this company, I was somewhat forced into a development opportunity as a second shift, night shift supervisor. Shift was 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I love sleep. I am a morning person. I didn't want to do it, but I felt like if I didn't say yes, it would impact my future growth at this company. They also told me they couldn't promise me they could get me out if I hated it. I told them I would quit if they couldn't, and I don't think they believed me. So after just 3 months, I had had enough, and I went to give my 2 weeks notice to my manager, who wasn't in her office. And when I went around looking for her, that's when I found out that my boss and one of the other night shift supervisors had been let go that day. So I then had to walk into a meeting with senior leadership to give them my 2 weeks notice. So they just went from 4 leadership on nights to 1. They probably weren't super happy. Despite how incredibly uncomfortable that situation was, all I could think when I was walking out of that room was relief and how happy I was to be leaving. And truly that's a little sad because I loved that initial job, but I did not love the impact on me. That job was a turning point for me. It made me realize how much I value my work-life balance and my mental and physical health. I decided I was never going to let a career impact that again. And I learned that it's okay to quit a job because it doesn't align with your values. There will be something else out there. A few weeks after I quit my job, I started as a manufacturing engineer at Lockheed Martin, and I have not looked back since. I love my job, but what truly keeps me there is the work-life balance and the leadership. So in Syracuse, Lockheed works 4/10s. That means you have every Friday off. Super cool. Not a lot of companies are doing that. But when I got pregnant with my first kid, I asked my boss if I could go part-time when I came back to work. If you are a boss someday, please keep this response in mind. He told me, "You're great at your job, and I want you to keep working for Lockheed. I will take care of you as an employee with the hopes that you will feel valued and stay with us. Yes, you can work part-time. It has to be at least 20 hours to keep your benefits." So when I turned from maternity leave, I went to 20 hours a week, doing the exact same manufacturing job I did before, still doing it now, and I love it. But something else happened to me on maternity leave. I went through one of the toughest periods of my life. I had postpartum depression and anxiety and a tough physical recovery. I was absolutely blindsided. I had never dealt with mental health issues before, though in hindsight, I did. I just didn't recognize what it was. I had a really supportive husband and family, but despite all that, I was still struggling. I couldn't believe how little support there was for postpartum women and how little I knew about what was happening to my body. So I decided to do something about it. It took me a while to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. I thought about going back to school to be a nurse so I could support women in the hospital. I thought about becoming a lactation consultant or a doula. In the end, I decided I didn't want to go back to school when I had a young child and was working part-time at a job I really liked. So I decided to mix a few of my favorite things together. I've always been an athlete and I love to exercise, but I also really love to understand how things work. So I thought back to what my pain points were during pregnancy and postpartum, and a big one was I didn't know how to change my fitness. And I had no understanding of how my body worked. We're coming out of this age of pregnant women should rest and take it easy and shouldn't exercise. We're starting to understand that exercise is great for both baby and mom, and it's okay to lift heavy. I got yelled at a lot for what I was lifting when I was pregnant. So I found a need and I decided to fill it. I started to become a personal trainer. I took a bunch of courses that taught me about biomechanics, strength and conditioning, general fitness. I started an Instagram account to share my story, to find clients, to find colleagues. I started working with a few clients online. But at this point in my life, I have a young child, I'm working 20 hours a week, and I'm trying to start this business. I realized if I truly wanted this to be part of my career, I had to take it online, both for my sake and for my clients' sake. I took courses on online business and marketing. I took courses on creating a subscription-based online membership. I opened an LLC. My business and brand started taking form. I now have multiple one-on-one clients. I usually have 50 to 20 people in my monthly subscription, but I'm driving for 100 now as my next goal. I've not stopped learning or taking courses since I set off on this path 4 years ago. I have found my passion. I have found that elusive job that doesn't feel like a job. I don't make a lot of money doing it, but I get to change lives. From a business standpoint, I'm also still learning. I'm learning about email marketing and how to invest money to scale my business, how to write blogs, use long-form content. But this has really just been one big adventure to me, and I keep learning new things every day. And with that sentiment, I will tie it back to the lesson from the beginning of this speech, and that is you go to college to learn how to learn. I have this new business venture now because I knew how to pursue knowledge. It doesn't matter that I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated. It just mattered that I graduated with a job that got me in somewhere, and then I wasn't afraid of change or chasing my dreams. To close out this speech, I'm going to share some words of advice that I collected from my online community and past Clarkson alumni. I hope something sticks with you the same way you go to college to learn how to learn did with me. The first one is from my boss at my second internship, who happens to be a Clarkson alumni. There will always be people who have more than you or can do something better than you can. Don't let that discourage you. Focus on your own talents, drives, and qualities and build your success on them. This is so true. Everyone is on their own path and has their own goals. Just keep chasing yours. Next we have, don't let your education get in the way of your education. She meant prioritize learning, not grades. Take those fun classes. Do something you'll never get to do again, study abroad. You're here for more than just a number on a resume, and I can wholeheartedly attest as someone who reviews resumes to look for people to interview, I never look at the number anymore. I mean, still do good in your courses, but don't stress about it. The next one is, grades will help you graduate, but networking is what will get you the career. Make as many connections as possible. I couldn't agree more. It was the main point of the speech. And the last one I'll leave you with, and possibly my favorite, don't stress about what's next. Live in the moment. This is the best time of your life, so live it up. Enjoy your year, Clarkson students, your 4 years. Go learn how to learn and make some lifelong friends. Thank you very much for having me.
First of all, could we please give another round of applause for Ellen? Amazing speech. And Ellen has been gracious enough to host a meet and greet following the convocation in the Cheel Commons area. We invite everyone to attend. And now we'd like to invite Tara Trelafifty to sing Clarkson's alma mater. The lyrics will appear on the... Everybody should stand and sing along.
Hear us, Clarkson, hail thee. Hear us sing thy name. We cherish here the memories of golden college days. Thy banner green and gold shall stand until eternity. Alma mater, strong and grand, Clarkson, hail to thee.
Faculty and the stage party may recess through the Zamboni entrance in the Cheel. Students, please stay in your seats. Jonas Petro, the Clarkson Pep Band president, is now invited to the stage to kick off the evening for traditional Pep Band Bang as faculty recess.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Jonas Petro, and I am the acting president of Clarkson's very own pep band. Thank you, Declan. Our job is to bring excitement and passion to each and every hockey game. Both on and off campus, you'll catch our band members at games, clapping, cheering, and playing their hearts out in support of Clarkson hockey. Whether you're a seasoned musician or have never even seen a trumpet before, the band is more than happy to let you join us in showing pride for our university. If you're interested in becoming a member, come talk to us anytime. We're not hard to find. We play right here in section 17 of Cheel Arena, so come by and say hello. Without further ado, let's open this school year with a bang. Let's go Tech. Take it away.
Thank you, Pep Band. We appreciate you guys so much. 2 quick things before you guys go. First of all, I know that you guys would not be here without your family and supporters, so can everyone stand up and please give a round of applause to your family members. You'll see them soon, but now you're ours for a little bit. First year students, please make your way to the lobby of the arena to retrieve your class shirt. Your RA will reach out to you on your LLC's meeting space via GroupMe. Transfer students and anyone else who would like to attend the meet and greet, please proceed to the meet and greet with our guest speaker in the Cheal Commons first floor. Let's go Tech!